Every single day, you walk through a world of invisible masks. You sit across from people who smile at you, nod at your ideas, and tell you exactly what you want to hear. But deep down, in the pit of your stomach, you can feel that something is wrong. You feel it because humans are professional liars. We have spent thousands of years evolving the ability to use words to hide our true intentions. We say, "I'm fine," when our world is falling apart. We say, "I agree," when we secretly think the other person is a fool. We are conditioned by society to be polite, to avoid conflict, and to keep our darkest, truest thoughts locked away. But here is the secret that manipulators, top negotiators, and elite psychologists know: words can lie, but the human nervous system cannot. Welcome back to Shadow Psychology. Today, we are tearing down the masks. We are going to explore the 10 proven psychological tricks to read people's minds. I am going to teach you how to decode the silent language of body cues, nonverbal slips, and energetic fields that people leak without even realizing it. We are not talking about magic or party tricks. We are talking about the raw biology of human behavior. By the time this video is over, you will possess a psychological superpower. You will know exactly what people are thinking, long before they even open their mouth. Let's begin. Trick number 1 starts with the most exposed part of the human brain, the eyes. People always say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, but in psychology, they are the windows to the subconscious. Most people think mind reading is about forcing someone to look you in the eye. That is a mistake. Pathological liars will actually hold eye contact longer than an honest person just to prove they have nothing to hide. If you want the truth, you have to ignore their gaze and look directly at their pupils. Think of the pupil like a camera lens. Its primary job is to let light in so you can see. But your autonomic nervous system also uses the pupil to regulate desire. When you look at something you genuinely like, a person you are attracted to, a business deal you are excited about, or a piece of art that moves you, your pupils involuntarily dilate. Your brain is literally trying to open the window wider to let more of that positive stimulus in. You cannot fake this. No amount of willpower can stop pupil dilation. Conversely, if you pitch an idea to your boss, and they say, "That sounds interesting," but their pupils suddenly constrict into tiny, sharp pinpoints, they are lying. Constricted pupils are a biological defense mechanism. It signals anger, disgust, or a strong desire to reject the information. Their brain is trying to shut the window. But we can go deeper than just the pupils. You can actually track how a person is processing information just by watching which way their eyes dart when you ask them a question. Imagine you asked someone a difficult question about where they were last night. Watch their eyes. If their eyes dart up and to their right, their brain is accessing the creative, imaginative center. They are literally constructing an image that doesn't exist. This is a massive red flag that they are fabricating a story. They are lying to you. However, if their eyes dart up and to their left, they are accessing the memory center. They are searching their mental filing cabinet to recall an actual, true event. And finally, watch out for the disappear reflex. If you are in a heavy conversation and the person closes their eyes for 3 or 4 seconds, or they pinch the bridge of their nose with their eyes tightly shut, they are not sleepy. They are overwhelmed. Their brain has reached its absolute limit of stress, and closing their eyes is a subconscious attempt to make you and the conflict completely disappear from their reality. When we try to read someone, we spend almost all of our energy analyzing their face. This is exactly what they want you to do. We are trained from childhood to manipulate our facial expressions. We know how to fake a smile and look interested. If you want the unfiltered, brutal truth about how someone feels about you, you have to look down. You have to look at their feet. Evolutionary psychology tells us that for millions of years, our feet were our primary mechanism for survival. They allowed us to run from predators and move towards safety. Because of this, our feet are directly wired into our fight or flight response. They react to danger or discomfort milliseconds before our conscious brain even registers it. Because they are so deeply tied to our survival instincts, Our feet will always point in the exact direction our subconscious wants to go. Let's apply this to the real world. Imagine you are talking to a coworker. They are facing you, they are smiling, and they are using active listening skills. But you glance down, and one of their feet is pointed dead straight toward the hallway exit. Do not be fooled by their polite smile. The conversation is over. Their brain has already left the room. They are just leaving their physical body behind to maintain social etiquette. You can also use the lower body to read hidden group dynamics. Have you ever walked up to two people having a conversation, and you can't tell if you're welcome or if you're interrupting? Look at their feet. If you approach them and they turn their heads and torsos to say hello, but their feet remain firmly pointed at each other, stop walking. You are an intruder. Their lower body language is creating a closed loop, signaling that their private circle is not open to you. But if you walk up and one of them shifts their foot outward to point at you, they have just opened the door. They are secretly welcoming you into space. Furthermore, pay attention to proximity. Humans act like magnets. We subconsciously close the physical distance with people we favor, trust, or find attractive. We subconsciously increase the distance from people we find toxic or threatening. If you take one small step towards someone during a conversation, and they immediately take a half step back to re-establish the gap, you have just found their comfort boundary. Do not cross it again. Trick number 3 is about tracking the invisible weight of suppressed emotions. When a person has a secret, or when they strongly disagree with you but are too afraid to voice their opinion, that negative energy does not just evaporate. It builds up inside their nervous system like steam inside a pressure cooker. And eventually, that steam has to leak out through the body. We call these leaks microtensions. The most common place you will see this is in the jaw and the mouth. If you're explaining a concept and you see the person's jaw clench or the muscles on the side of their face pulse, they are under severe internal stress. If their lips suddenly roll inward and press together so tightly that they almost disappear, they are quite literally biting their tongue. They are physically holding back words that they know will cause a fight. When the internal pressure becomes too great, the brain will force the body to perform what we call pacifying behaviors. Think about it. When you were an infant and you were crying, what did your parents do? They rubbed your back, they stroked your hair, they rocked you. They used physical touch to calm your nervous system. As adults, when we are placed in high-stress situations like lying or feeling intimidated, our brain craves that exact same comfort. But because no one is there to rock us, we do it to ourselves. If you ask someone a hard question and they instantly start rubbing the back of their own neck, playing with a pen, adjusting their glasses unnecessarily, or touching their face, you have triggered their anxiety. These fidgeting motions are self-soothing gestures. They are trying to bleed off the nervous energy you just caused. The most fascinating version of this is called displacement. Sometimes a person will disagree with you entirely, but their ego or their fear prevents them from looking you in the eye and arguing. Instead, they will displace their anger onto an inanimate object. Watch for the lint trick. If you are making a strong point, and the other person suddenly looks down and starts intensely picking imaginary pieces of lint off their pants, or smoothing out wrinkles in their shirt that don't exist, they are fighting you in their head. They don't have the courage to attack your argument, so they attack the lint instead. When you see this, you know you have won the mental chess match. Up until now, we have been playing defense. We have been watching what other people are doing to figure out what they are thinking. But trick number 4 is where we flip the script. This is where mind reading becomes mind influence. We call it the chameleon effect, but in psychology it is known as mirroring. Humans are deeply social creatures. Deep in our primitive brain, we are wired to seek out people who are just like us, because historically, people who were like us were safe. People who were different were a threat. Because of this, when we feel a deep, genuine connection with someone, our bodies will subconsciously begin to copy them. We become their mirror. Think about the last time you were at a coffee shop and you saw a couple deeply in love. If you watch them, you will notice something crazy. If she leans forward, he leans forward. If he picks up his coffee cup a few seconds later, she picks up hers. They match each other's tone of voice. They even synchronize their breathing. They don't know they are doing it. It is their nervous systems linking up. You can use this biological quirk as a real-time radar to read anyone's mind. If you are on a date or in a business meeting and you want to know if the other person is genuinely buying into what you are saying, test them. Make a very distinct physical movement. Lean back in your chair and cross your legs. Or slowly take a sip of water and set the glass down on your left side. Then wait 10 seconds. If they subconsciously adjust their posture to match yours, you own the room. They are completely locked into your reality. If they stay completely rigid and refuse to mirror you, the connection is broken. You need to change your approach. But remember, I said this was about influence. If you want someone to like you, to trust you, or to agree with your ideas, you must intentionally mirror them. Match their energy. If they speak slowly and softly, drop your volume and slow your pacing. If they use a lot of hand gestures, start using your hands. Combine this with the nodding trick. When you ask them a question that you want them to say yes to, subtly and slowly nod your own head while you ask it. You will trigger their mirror neurons. Their brain will see you nodding, and their subconscious will pull them into agreement before their logical brain even processes the question. It feels like magic, but it is pure biology. Have you ever watched a movie where the acting was just bad? The actor is crying, the music is sad, and the script is emotional, but you don't feel anything. Why? Because the actor's body language doesn't match the words they are saying. In psychology, we call this incongruence. I like to call it the glitch in the matrix. When a person is telling the truth, their words, their tone of voice, and their body language are perfectly aligned. They flow together in a straight line. But when a person is lying, they have to consciously build a fake story in their head while simultaneously trying to force their body to act natural. The human brain does not have enough processing power to do both of those things perfectly at the same time. Something always glitches. You need to train your eyes and ears to catch the glitch. Imagine you ask a friend if they are upset with you. They say, "No, I'm totally fine. Why would I be mad?" The words say they are happy. But let's look at the glitch. Did their voice suddenly pitch up half an octave higher than normal? Did one of their shoulders shrug up slightly toward their ear while they said it? Did they shake their head? No. A split second before the words came out of their mouth. When the words and the body contradict each other, the body is always telling the truth. The body cannot lie as fast as the mouth can. You also need to listen for the verbal glitches. These are called Weasel words. When someone is about to lie to you, their subconscious mind feels guilty. To relieve that guilt, they will often insert words that dilute their responsibility. Listen for phrases like, "to be perfectly honest with you," or "truthfully," or "I swear to you." Think about how absurd that is. If you ask me what I had for breakfast, I don't say, "To be perfectly honest, I had oatmeal." I just say I had oatmeal. When someone has to announce that they are about to tell the truth, it implies that their baseline state of existence is deception. When you hear a weasel word or when you see the body disagreeing with the mouth, stop listening to the story. You are being played. Trick number 6 is not for the faint of heart. It is the most aggressive, uncomfortable, and devastatingly effective psychological tool you will ever learn. We are going to talk about weaponized silence. As a society, we are terrified of silence. We view quiet moments in a conversation as awkward, embarrassing, or rude. From the time we are kids, we are taught to fill the dead air. If there is a pause, we panic and start talking about the weather, or we laugh nervously. Manipulators know this. When you confront a manipulator, they will give you a half answer, a confusing excuse, or a partial lie. And then they will stop talking. They are waiting for your social anxiety to kick in. They are waiting for you to say, "Oh, okay, I understand," just to end the awkwardness. Do not let them off the hook. When someone gives you an answer that feels like a lie, do exactly what I just did. Do not nod. Do not say, Do not look away. Maintain soft, unbroken eye contact and let the silence hang in the air like a physical weight. What happens next is pure human psychology. The silence creates a vacuum. It creates immense, crushing social pressure. The other person's brain will panic. They will assume that your silence means you have figured out their lie. To relieve the anxiety of the silence, they will start talking again. They will backpedal. They will over-explain. They will stumble over their words, and 9 times out of 10, they will vomit the exact hidden truth you were looking for simply because they could not handle the quiet. Silence is the ultimate lie detector. If you want to know what someone is hiding, stop asking questions. Just look at them and let the quiet do the heavy lifting. When most people want to find out the truth, they act like an interrogator. They shine a bright light in the other person's face and start firing off rapid yes or no questions. Did you do this? Were you there? Are you mad at me? This is the worst way to read a mind. When you ask a closed yes or no question, you are putting the other person in a defensive box. Their brain instantly recognizes the threat. Their shields go up, and they give you the shortest, safest answer possible. Trick number 7 is about flipping that dynamic. If you want someone to reveal their deepest thoughts, you have to give them the illusion of control. You do this through open-ended traps and weaponized active listening. Never ask a question that can be answered with one word. Instead of asking, "Did you like the meeting?" ask, "How did that meeting make you feel?" Instead of asking, "Are you upset?" ask, "What is going through your head right now?" When you ask how or what, you force their brain to construct a narrative. You force them to talk, and the more a person talks, the more data they leak. But here is the real secret. While they are talking, you must practice radical active listening. Most people don't listen, they just wait for their turn to speak. They are too busy formulating their next clever point to actually hear the tone, the pacing, and the pauses of the person in front of them. Stop doing that. When you ask the open-ended question, completely silence your own mind. Watch how fast they are speaking. Do they suddenly start talking incredibly fast? That means they are anxious and trying to rush past a lie. Does their voice drop in volume? They are losing confidence. By letting them dominate the conversation, they feel powerful. They feel like they are in control. But in reality, you are just letting them give you the exact map to their subconscious. Trick number 8 is the skeleton key to the human mind. If you master this, people will willingly hand you their darkest secrets, their hidden motivations, and their true feelings without you ever having to pry. It is called emotional validation. At the core of human psychology, beneath the ego, beneath the lies, and beneath the masks, every single human being on Earth shares one desperate desire, the desire to be understood. We all want someone to look at us and say, "You make sense." When someone is being defensive, difficult, or closed off, it is usually because they feel judged. They feel like the world is against them. If you argue with them, their walls get thicker. But what happens if you validate them instead? Imagine you are dealing with someone who is completely shut down and furious. Instead of telling them to calm down, which never works, you look them in the eyes and say, "You know what? Given everything you've been through today, it makes complete sense that you are angry. I would be angry too." Watch what happens to their body language when you say those words. Their shoulders will drop. Their jaw will unclench. They might even let out a massive sigh. You have just removed the threat. By validating their emotion, you didn't agree that they were right. You just agreed that their feelings were real. The moment their ego feels validated, their defenses collapse. The vault door swings wide open. Once a person feels like you truly understand them, they will tell you absolutely everything. They will explain their motives, they will reveal their insecurities, and they will lay their mind completely bare for you to read. Now, I need to give you a very serious warning. If you try to use all the tricks we've talked about so far without applying trick number 9, you will fail. You will misread people, you will accuse honest people of lying, and you will get played by skilled manipulators. You cannot read a deviation if you do not know the baseline. Think of reading minds like tuning a guitar. You can't tell if a string is out of tune unless you know what the correct note is supposed to sound like. Every human being has a different baseline of normal behavior. It is shaped by their culture, their upbringing, and their individual nervous system. Some people are naturally fidgety. They tap their feet even when they are perfectly calm. Some people avoid eye contact simply because they are incredibly shy, not because they are deceptive. If you assume that a lack of eye contact always means someone is lying, you are letting your own assumptions blind you. You are no longer reading them, you are projecting your own biases onto them. Before you can analyze a person's dark psychology, you must observe them when they are completely safe. Watch them when they are talking about something boring, like what they had for lunch or the weather. How fast do they normally blink? Where do they normally put their hands when they sit? What is their natural vocal pitch? You must establish this baseline first. You gather the evidence before you make the judgment. Once you have the baseline locked in, the game changes entirely. You don't have to look for complex lies anymore. You just wait for the spike. The exact moment their behavior deviates from their normal baseline. The moment the quiet guy suddenly gets loud, or the fidgety girl suddenly goes perfectly still, you know a psychological trigger has just been pulled. The baseline is the canvas. The deviation is the paint. We are nearing the end of our masterclass. But if you ignore trick number 10, every single thing you have learned today will backfire on you. You must understand the invisible filter. In psychology, we call this cultural context. Body language is not a universal language. It is a dialect. And if you try to read someone using the wrong dictionary, you are going to misinterpret everything they say. In the United States, Canada, the UK, and Australia, maintaining strong eye contact is a sign of confidence, honesty, and respect. If someone looks away while talking to you, your Western brain immediately assumes they are hiding something. But what if you are negotiating with someone from a different cultural background? In many Eastern and Asian cultures, extended, direct eye contact with an authority figure or a stranger is considered incredibly disrespectful. It is a sign of aggression. So, if they lower their eyes while speaking to you, they aren't lying. They are showing you deep respect. If you project your own cultural rules onto someone else's nervous system, you are no longer reading their mind. You are just reading your own assumptions. Never assume you know what someone is thinking with 100% certainty. You are a behavioral analyst, not a psychic. You are gathering evidence to make a highly educated guess. If you see a cluster of clues, dilated pupils, crossed arms, a fake Duchenne smile, you have a strong theory. But you must run that theory through the invisible filter of their age, their background, and their culture before you make your final judgment. We have reached the final secret. We have covered the eyes, the feet, the microtensions, and the psychological traps. But true mind reading, the kind practiced by the most elite observers in the world, moves beyond the physical body. It moves into the realm of energy, intuition, and deep spiritual empathy. Thousands of years ago, the ancient text known as the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali stated that through deep, unbroken meditation on another person's mental state, you can gain direct knowledge of their mind. This isn't Hollywood telepathy. You aren't going to hear specific words echoing in your head. Spiritual mind reading is about developing an energetic awareness so sharp that you can literally feel the emotional state of the person standing in front of you. Have you ever walked into a room after two people just had a screaming match? They aren't talking, they are just sitting there, but the air feels thick, it feels heavy. You can feel the anger vibrating in the room before anyone even looks at you. That is energetic reading. You do it naturally. The trick is learning how to control it. To read someone's energy, you have to cultivate absolute internal stillness. You cannot read someone else's mind if your own mind is chaotic. You have to practice total neutrality. That means when you look at them, you drop your ego, you drop your own past traumas, you drop your desire to be right. You stop acting as a participant in the conversation, and you become the observer. Instead of just listening to their words, tune into the field they are projecting. Is their energy frantic and scattered? Is it heavy and depressive? Do they feel charged with hidden aggression? When you cultivate this deep, non-judgmental empathy, people will feel it. They will sense that you see them, the real them beneath the mask. And when a human being feels truly seen, they will stop hiding. They will hand you the keys to their mind. They will explain their motives, they will reveal their insecurities, and they will lay their mind completely bare for you to read. Reading people is not magic. It is a choice. It is the choice to stop living in the illusion of words and start paying attention to the reality of human behavior. The next time you walk into a meeting, go on a date, or sit down with a friend, I want you to stop talking. I want you to silence your own mind, watch their physical baseline, look for the microtensions, and feel their energy. You will be terrified by how much you were missing before. If you want to master the hidden mechanics of the human mind, if you want to protect yourself from manipulation and learn the secrets that society tries to keep hidden, then hit the subscribe button right now. We break down the dark psychology of human behavior every single week, right here on Shadow Psychology. Leave a comment below telling me which of these tricks you are going to test out on someone today. Stay observant, trust your instincts, and I will see you in the next video.